Imagine this. You're a beggar, sitting on a cold pavement on a stormy night. Rainwater seeps through your thin shirt. Your stomach aches from hunger. You haven't eaten all day. And just as you're about to close your eyes and let the night swallow you whole, you hear it. A faint, soft cry. At first, you think it's the wind. But no. This is different. You follow the sound down the alley past trash bags and broken bottles until you see it. A baby. A tiny baby boy, shivering, crying, his little fists clenched. Someone had thrown him away like garbage. You have no money, no food, no home. But in that moment, you have one choice. Walk away, or pick him up and change both of your lives forever. This is the story of Samuel, the man who chose to save that baby. And 5 years later, what that child did will leave you speechless. Samuel wasn't just poor, he was invisible. He had lost everything years ago after his parents died, and a series of bad choices left him on the street. But that night, when he saw the baby, something inside him snapped back to life. He wrapped the baby in his tattered jacket and whispered, "Not tonight. Not on my watch." He took his last coins, the ones he had saved for bread, and ran to the nearest shop. "Milk," he begged the shopkeeper. The man laughed. "What are you going to do with milk, Samuel? You can't even feed yourself." But Samuel didn't answer. He bought the milk, found an old bottle, and fed the baby under a broken bridge. That night, for the first time in years, Samuel didn't feel completely hopeless. He had a reason to wake up. He named the baby David. "You are my second chance," he whispered. Life after that moment didn't get easier. It got harder. Samuel now begged twice as hard, not for himself, but for David. Every coin mattered. Every insult from strangers had to be swallowed. Every time someone kicked his cup away, he had to remind himself, "I can take anything, as long as he's safe." Samuel turned the city streets into David's first school. He taught him to count using bottle caps. He taught him words by reading, headlines from old newspapers left behind on benches. When David turned 2, Samuel took him to a library, pretending he was just passing by so they could sit inside where it was warm. There, he read to him from torn books until the librarian finally noticed them. And instead of kicking them out, she quietly started leaving children's books near their table. There were days Samuel almost gave up. One winter, David caught pneumonia. Samuel rushed him to the hospital and begged for help. "We can't treat him without payment," the receptionist said coldly. Samuel fell to his knees. "He's just a child. He doesn't deserve to die because we're poor." A nurse, moved by his desperation, slipped him some medicine and blankets. "Keep him warm tonight. Pray." Samuel stayed awake until dawn, holding David, whispering, "Please stay with me, son. Please." When the fever finally broke, Samuel cried. Not from sadness, but from relief. That day, he vowed, "I will not let him grow up like this. Whatever it takes, I'll change our lives." Months later, a black car stopped near Samuel's spot. Inside was Mr. Carter, a wealthy businessman. He saw Samuel teaching David how to read from a newspaper and got out of the car. "Where did you learn to read like that?" he asked. Samuel shrugged. "Doesn't matter where. What matters is that he learns." Mr. Carter smiled slightly, impressed. He handed Samuel a business card. "Come to this address tomorrow. I might have a job for you." Samuel almost didn't go. Fear told him it was a trick, but the next morning, holding David's tiny hand, he showed up. Mr. Carter offered Samuel a night shift job cleaning warehouses. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, and it paid enough for Samuel to rent a small, run-down room. For the first time in years, they had a roof over their heads. David had a bed. Samuel had hope. 5 years passed. David grew into a brilliant boy. Top of his class, winning math competitions, spelling bees, and science fairs. Teachers called him a prodigy. Other kids' parents whispered, "Can you believe the beggar's son is smarter than all of ours?" Samuel, too, had grown. He was no longer just a cleaner. He had been promoted to a supervisor, respected by his team. But then came the day that changed everything. One afternoon, a wealthy couple showed up at David's school. They claimed David was their biological son, kidnapped years ago and abandoned. They demanded custody. Samuel's world crashed. He had raised David from the moment he was thrown away. He had fed him, protected him, sacrificed everything for him, and now these strangers wanted to take him away? The couple offered Samuel money. "Take this," they said. "You've done enough. Let us raise him the way he deserves." Samuel refused. "You can't buy love. Ask him what he wants." David stepped forward, his voice firm. "I'm staying with him. He's my father." The room fell silent. Even the wealthy couple was shocked. The case went to family court. In court, Samuel broke down and told the judge everything. How he found David, how he raised him, how he gave up meals so David could eat. The judge was silent for a long moment before speaking. "Blood may make you related, but love makes you a parent. This boy has chosen his father, and this court will honor that." Samuel wept. David ran into his arms. The courtroom erupted in applause. The story went viral. Millions of people online were touched. Donations poured in. Mr. Carter promoted Samuel again, making him a manager. David got a full scholarship to one of the best schools in the country. Years later, when David graduated top of his class, Samuel sat in the front row, tears streaming down his face. When David gave his speech, he said, "My father taught me that love isn't about blood. It's about who shows up for you when no one else does." The audience gave him a standing ovation. Samuel stood tall, no longer invisible. Samuel's story is a reminder that being a hero doesn't always mean being rich, powerful, or famous. Sometimes it's just about picking up someone else's broken pieces and choosing to love them. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think David made the right choice by staying with Samuel instead of going with his biological parents? Or should blood have mattered more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I reply to many of them. And if you want to know how a black cleaner's son solved a $200 million problem in seconds, watch this video, Nobody Believed the Black Cleaners. Son, until he solved a $200 million problem in seconds. It's on your screen at the end. Tap it and watch what happens when brilliance is underestimated. If David's story touched your heart, smash the like button. It helps more people find stories like this. Share this video with someone who believes love is stronger than blood. Let them feel this message and subscribe to Black Response right now, because we tell the stories that others are afraid to share.